tapping into the power that creates our lives. I'm really excited to talk to you about this topic today, and the talk that I'm going to present to you just right now is part of one of the almost 100 lessons and videos that are part of the Sacred Purpose Blueprint, my program for transformation, for stepping into a life of purpose, for living in alignment with soul, and finally waking up with joy, anxiety free, and finding this deep connection to our soul calling. I have extraordinary feedback from that course now, but I wanted to give you a little snippet of some of the amazing concepts of spirituality, shamanism, animism, and holistic health that are present in that course. So without further ado, let's step into that talk now. So there is a concept that I mentioned to you in a previous video, the concept of the underworld, Ukupacha, the place that is creating life, where everything is coming from. It's represented by under the earth, where we plant the seed. It's represented by the belly, the seed of the baby. It's represented by what was there before the Big Bang, before everything was created. This place of darkness where nothing existed yet had ultimately the potential to create everything. It's a very feminine space. The space of creation of life is feminine. And this is connected to the earth element, which represents our body. So if you think of having an idea and then taking action, if that idea comes from brainstorming from your mind only, from what you think you should do, from what you've learned, from what society is expecting, from what your family told you to do, this is not coming from Ukupacha, from the underworld, from that place. Now, if you do a nature walk and you're daydreaming, if you're very relaxed in your body, in meditation and grounded, if you're having joy and fun, and then out of nowhere, a vision comes. That vision is from Ukupacha, is from that place that creates. It is from the matrix of life. It is from the invisible. It is from before the words, before the mind, before manifestation. And this is infused not only with deeper wisdom, but also support from the spirits, the allies, the ancestors, the animal guides that are here to support your path. Most of us, many people that didn't grow up in more indigenous traditional society, don't have the nurturing of those gifts of listening to the land, don't have the gift of listening to the spirit. And many of us have learned that along the way through teachers, through practices, through rituals, through ceremonies. And it can be a challenge to connect to that on a daily basis. But really, to take action in this life require first to be silent, require first to empty ourselves from any thoughts, any fear, any resistance, to be just in the presence of life. This light, this joy, this love that is creating all there is. And then when the insight comes to take action. Those actions, if they stay connected to that source, if they stay in relation to the visible and invisible world, those actions will be empowered. Those actions will have the intention of the greater collective unfoldment. They will be aligned with service. They will align with the healing of the world, the healing of our families and our communities. They will be aligned with the healing of the self. So if you reflect on how you usually take action, do things, can you explore how much of that comes from that place, Ukupacha, from that strong insight, and how many of those actions are coming from the mind, the fear, the idea of lack, the resistance, the pain, the confusion of the programs and the system that you have received since you were born. So my invitation to you is to dedicate way more time to this inward perspective, to be in deep listening to the silence, in deep listening to what you don't see. You know, when you have an idea, a thought, and people say, this came out of nowhere. Well, nowhere is the place. Nowhere is Ukupacha. Nowhere is the roots of all the roots, the source of all the sources. It is the seed ground. So very often as we sit in this place of deep meditation, great silence, maybe in Vision's Quest or silent retreat or deep inner presence with the body, sensation, with not knowing, with the silence, we will receive those insight, those guidances. And it will often feel like this is completely different from anything I've ever heard before. This is so unexpected. This is so out there. Yes, it is out there. It is in Ukupacha. And despite being so different, so challenging, maybe for the mind, so even difficult to fit it into our lives as it is, there will be this feeling of home, this feeling of connection. It's so foreign, and yet it's home. It's so different from my life, and then it is my life, my greater potential. Every single things that I've created in my life that come from that place, I've been deeply supported by spirits, by my guides, by community, by the world. Yes, there was efforts, there was action that I needed to do to manifest them, but it was not as hard as the idea that came out just from my mind, fears that I tried to manifest, that I tried to bring into the world. Because you see, when you create from fears, from limitation, from lack, this is a very small space. And this is not the space of the greater unfoldment, the greater universe, the greater web of life. And so, yes, we can create from that space, but it will require so much energy, so much fire. It will not be often very rooted into our essence, very rooted in community, very rooted in land, very rooted in service, very rooted into the collective. Those ideas are often more individualistic. They are nourished and born from this idea of separation that we have experienced in our lives. They are not nourished by the mycelium, the web of life. So my invitation for you is to start reflecting on those moments in your life when you have those insights and what you are going to do about it. What did you do about it? Because I can tell you that for sure those ideas, when they come from that place of relaxation, of presence, of great joy, of heart deeply open, are the most powerful idea for your life and the most powerful medicine for the world. So may you return to that silence more often. May you carve in your schedule, in your busy agendas, in your busy lives. May you carve the space of emptiness, the space of silence, the space of darkness, the space of presence. It will ask you to slow down. And once you have slow down again and again and again. And you just wait there in total darkness, in total silence, until something emerged from that space. Something that feels so sweet, like the honey of life, like the most intimate and delicate part of your soul, blossoming, turning into big gift for your life. And from that space of the earth, that space of revelation, then you take action, enter the middle world, the fire. You start taking one step at a time towards those greater goals. And as you do that, you will access the third world, Ukupacha, the world of the sky, the other perspective. Because that manifestation will change your life, will change your community, will change the world. And as a great eagle flying in the sky, you will see this new perspective that came from a dream, that came from the darkness, that came from the unseen, that came from the silence. And that day, you will understand that one of the greatest teacher, if not the greatest of all, is that silence, is that presence, is that love. So this is my invitation of remembering, my invitation of returning, my invitation to feeling more deeply into what is before all there ever was. Blessing, my friends.